Councillor Toto, would you like to test your microphone? Because I see it's on. If you'd like to test it, we can test it now before the meeting, and then we're going to switch them off later. Councillor Toto, your microphone, it keeps going on. Can you test it and then switch it off completely? Good afternoon, councillors. Those of you that have joined us this afternoon, we've got 15 minutes until the meeting. This is a test. I want to make sure that everybody can hear. And also that if you do want to do a microphone check, now is the opportunity for you to do that check before the meeting starts. I'm going to reiterate that. If you want to do a microphone check, please do it now. And this is also an opportunity to make sure that your headphones work correctly and that the settings are correct on your computer. Thank you.
Greetings to you all, colleagues. I hope you can hear me. Molo Councillor Toto. Nqabile Mhlekazi.
Councillors, thank you very much, Councillor Nkumile. Just bear in mind, please, that we are on a YouTube channel, and therefore I ask you to please respectfully keep it the conversations down. Let's do the microphone checks, and then treat the public with respect as they are going to be on the YouTube channel. Thank you.
Molo Mhlekazi. Uyandiva Mhlekazi somlomo. Mntakancamile molo man, kunjani itshola?
Councillors, there's no need for anyone to put their presence in the chat box at this stage. We will be doing a roll call once the meeting is started, but thank you very much for your diligence. We will be starting the meeting at 2 o'clock, but the councillors are not needed to put their presence in the in the chat box for now. Thank you. Councillor Ntondini, I see your microphone was on there for a second. Do you want to test your microphone?
Speaker. Good afternoon. I see we have a special load shedding here in Zone 5. I don't know, is it my area, is it the whole ward? But we have a load shedding here. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me know, Councillor, but I can assure you there's no load shedding. But I will take it up with the department.
Iyavakala apha enhlanganisweni.
Good afternoon, Councillor Ndaka. Your microphone is working perfectly, thank you.
Speaker, do you hear me? I can't hear you.
I hear you loud and clear, Councillor Ndaka. I hear you perfectly. There might be something wrong with your speaker if you cannot hear me, but everyone else can hear me.
Now I hear you. Thank you, Speaker.
My pleasure, Councillor Ndaka.
I like this vibe between you and Councillor Mtaga speak.
Definitely.
Wait until the meeting starts and it all changes.
I
Oh, it's a press speaker. Oh, they do not ask press speaker. Okay, it's fine.
it's five
Yeah,
speak.
it's not at all, no problem, guys. Just on a serious note, while we are before the meeting starts, I'd just like to send out a message to all the councillors to send to their ward committees, if possible, please, to be very careful for starting fires. We have serious issues around town with the wind. For those of you that are not aware, that Hansmuskraal has a serious fire at the moment and there might be structures lost. So I'm sending out a plea to all of the councillors to please talk to your ward committees, to go out to the public and ask them to act responsibly and not have fires in open areas or in next to the road, because it can spread to the houses very quickly. And especially with these berg winds, we do not want a repeat of what happened a few years ago in George. Thank you very much for your diligence in that. We have 7 minutes to the meeting, to the start of the meeting, and thank you for everyone that's available so far.
Speaker. Speaker. Ek wil
Ja,
vra moet geen allegaties maak nie.
Sorry?
Daar was brande by baie plase en goed en hierdie ding wat jy nou daar gesê het, dat jy nie voorheen so genoem nie. Die opmerking wat jy maak, dat dit in die komitees moet gegaan word. Moenie as brande in sekere dele is, dan moet die wijkkomitee gestem word. Hulle moet vir hulle mense gaan sê, hulle moet versigtig wees. Ja.
Councillor J.E., thank you very much for bringing it to my attention. I thought I was being very diligent in letting all the ward councillors know about it. But if you take obsession, I withdraw my statement for your purposes, and I therefore will retract my statement regarding the fires. Thank you.
Ja. Iemand zijn mic is aan. Ja, dat is jouw mic.
Molo Teresa. Molo Mamucheyi.
Ons gaan maar multitask doen.
120, 140, 250, 290, 250, 350.
Miss Waring, your microphone is on. Please switch it off.
Cheese.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Speaker. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon. I can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you, Speaker. Alderman Giereke is just struggling to log in.
No problem. Understood.
Speaker, kan u my hoor?
Dankie. Ja, daar's dit bys. Ek hoor jou duidelik.
Madam Speaker, sorry die krag by ons is af. As die laptop gaan afslaan, Speaker, dan as dit as gevolg die krag wat af is die hele dag by 1000
So noted, Councillor. Thank you very much.
Dankie, Speaker.
Councillors, good afternoon. The time now is 1400 hours. I believe we have a situation where councillors are once again in a wrong link. I'm not sure how this has happened. I've had a report from various councillors that they have logged into the meeting and there's nothing happening. I'm going to ask, I think it's approximately 15 or 14 councillors that are not logged into this meeting. And I believe Councillor Giereke is also still battling. I'm asking you to please be diligent. We also have issues with various other aspects that we're trying to get hold of at the moment. I'm therefore going to ask you just to hold on for 5 minutes so that we can see if we can get those councillors out of the wrong meeting and into this meeting. Luckily, we do not have a long agenda today. Thank goodness for that. But please bear with me while we try and sort this issue out. Thank you. If you are aware of anybody else that is not in this meeting, please contact IT as well so they can sort this thing out immediately. As I said, there are, for some reason, people which I believe might be in a room and not on this link which we're trying to sort. Good afternoon, Councillor Alderman Gericke. I see you've logged in. Councillors, could I please ask that everyone puts their microphones off so that we do not have interruptions? We're going to open this meeting, and if I may ask, seeing as though Alderman Gericke is online, if you'll open for us in prayer today, please.
Mr. Speaker, can you hear me?
Alderman Gericke, I hear you loud and clear.
I am tuned in on my phone. I struggle on my device. Hello.
Hi, I can hear you, Alderman. Could you open for us in prayer, please?
Yes, Heavenly Father, we thank you this afternoon for your awesome grace on our lives. And we thank you that you allowed us to open our eyes this morning and to stand in the service of you and your people. We once again dedicate our lives, our callings, our gifts unto you this day to serve your people and your agenda. I bring this meeting under your authority, and I ask, Heavenly Father, may your will be done. In the name of Christ our Savior. Amen.
Thank you very much, Alderman. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all of the councillors, aldermen, and also the administration and those the public that is on YouTube. I'm going to ask again, please, to for during this period that the administration, Rosemary, please could you call out the roll call for us?
Good afternoon, Speaker and councillors, officials. Councillor Adams.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm present.
Councillor America.
Good afternoon, present. Thank you.
Councillor Barnard.
Good afternoon, present. Rosemary.
Councillor Brown.
Good afternoon, Rosemary, present.
Councillor Buys.
Goeiemôre, teenwoordig.
Councillor Clark. Councillor Crodier.
Hier present.
Councillor Du Toit.
Goeiemiddag, ek is teenwoordig.
Councillor Esau.
Rosemary, Councillor Esau has applied for leave.
Thank you. Councillor Edie Vigland.
Middag aan Rose, present.
Councillor R.G. Vigland.
Present. Good afternoon, everybody.
Councillor Fry.
Good day, Rose. I'm present. Good day, colleagues.
Alderman Gericke.
Yeah, hi, I'm present.
Councillor Kom.
I'm present, but I'm having a problem here. There's no electricity and my laptop is very flat, so it will switch off anytime. Thank you.
Councillor Greef.
Goeiemiddag almal teenwoordig.
Councillor Gultik.
Good afternoon, everyone. Councillor Gultik is present.
Councillor Hani.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm present.
Councillor Hector.
Teenwoordig.
Councillor Heise.
Goedemiddag, teenwoordig.
Councillor Hill,
Rosemary, Councillor Hill is absent. He has applied for sick leave.
Councillors, there are people with their microphones on. Sorry, Rosemary. Councillors, Charlene, there we go. Thank you.
Councillor Jantjies,
Good day, Honourable Chair. I am.
Councillor Jay,
Goeiemiddag, teenwoordig, dankie.
Councillor Johnson,
Good afternoon, present.
Councillor Kleinans,
Goeiemiddag, Rose, collega's teenwoordig.
Alderman Kritzinger, sorry,
Afternoon, everybody present.
Councillor Kruger,
Good afternoon, everybody. Kruger present.
Councillor Lento,
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm present.
Councillor Losi,
Molweni nonke, Councillor Losi khona.
Councillor N.M. Low,
Goeiemiddag, teenwoordig.
Councillor R.M.I. Low,
Goeiemiddag, teenwoordig.
Councillor Mankrele, Councillor Mbete, Councillor E.T. Mdaka,
Good afternoon, Speaker. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm present. Thank you.
Councillor F. Mdaka, Councillor Mkuli,
Good day, everyone. I'm present.
who was that now? Sorry. Thank you. Councillor Nakumeli,
Oh, afternoon, everyone. I'm present. You pronounce it wrong. That's why I'm so quiet.
sorry, Councillor Neetling,
Ek is teenwoordig baie dankie.
Councillor Niels,
Teenwoordig baie dankie.
Councillor Tondini,
Good morning, everyone. I'm present. Thank you.
Alderman Petrus,
Goedemiddag, speaker en collega's teenwoordig.
Councillor Katana,
Afternoon, everyone. Councillor Tana is present.
Councillor Kampi,
Afternoon, everyone present.
Councillor Roofse,
Good afternoon, everybody present.
Councillor Cyphers, Councillor Saptu,
Present.
Councillor Simmers, Councillor Smart,
Good afternoon, Chair. I'm present. Thank you.
Councillor Snyman,
I'm present, thank you.
Councillor Titus,
Goedemiddag, teenwoordig.
Councillor Toto,
Molweni in die corner.
Councillor Van die Kerk,
Goeiemiddag, teenwoordig, dankie.
Alderman Van Wyk,
Present. Good afternoon, everyone.
Councillor Von Brandes,
Present, thank you.
Councillor Wessels,
Present, thank you.
Councillor Windwine.
Goeiemiddag almal teenwoordig.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That's it.
Thank you very much, councillors. I am aware that some of the councillors answered but were not heard. If your name was called out and you couldn't answer, could you just indicate in the chat box who was not able to answer on their microphones so that we can continue with this meeting. We are therefore take it that you are present, but we have a problem with your microphone. and then IT can help you sort that out one way or the other. So please, councillors, those of you that did not indicate that you were present on the roll call, please put it in the chat box so that we don't have any delay in this meeting. Councillor Suffers, I take it, thank you very much. Councillors, with that, I'm going to move on with today's agenda. We have 2 applications for leave, and that was Councillor Hill and Irsu, just for the record. Are there any administrative staff that have asked for leave of absence? MM?
Good afternoon, Speaker. No, I haven't received any applications for leave of absence.
Thank you very much, MM. I'm going to move on to the item 2 on the agenda, disclosure of interest by councillors, Schedule 7 of the Code of Conduct for Councillors, item 6, verklaring belange deur die raadslede, skedule 7 van die gedragskode van raadslede. Are there any declarations? Councillor Sabtu, your hand is up. I recognize you. Do you have a declaration?
I just want to find out, Speaker, from you, when do you intend for us to get into the council, to have a proper council meeting with the public? Just a question.
Okay, Councillor Sapta, I'm going to answer you once again, as I have at every previous meeting. We are busy investigating it, and we are going to stay with the agenda today. Thank you very much. I take it that has then answered your question. I will get back to you when that decision will be made. Thank you. Seeing as though there's nothing to declare, I'm going to move on to the matters of discretion of the Speaker. And I'm going to reiterate what I've said at the previous meetings, that at this stage, I'm going to ask you to all, please put your hands up should you have a point of order, bearing in mind that a point of order is relevant to the speaker that is speaking, that breaches a rule of order. And secondly, if you have any questions, to put that in the chat box so that we can then address it once at the end of the debate. With that, I am going to start this meeting with the first item on the agenda. Councillor Kleinhans. I'm starting with the agenda. I have given everything. Let's stick to the topics. We haven't even started the meeting, and
Speaker, sorry for this. I just want to inform you that I'm going to make use of, if I need to speak, of Councillor Kleinhans's laptop. My sound is very much distorted on my phone.
Alderman Gericke, I accept that. Thank you very much. Point taken. I'm going to continue. If there are any other notifications, to please put it in the chat box. I have people that are watching the chat box permanently.
Speaker, daar is mense wat in verkeerde meetings is.
Councillor Jay, we are busy addressing that. We have at the beginning of the meeting, I did say that we are addressing that, and we're getting the people sorted out as quickly as possible. So we are addressing that. Unfortunately, I don't know how they ended up in the wrong meeting. I only have one link. So with that, I'm going to ask you to first, in the chat box, please indicate who is in the incorrect meeting so that the IT can address that immediately, and the corporate services can invite them into this meeting. Without any further ado, I'm going to ask now for the first item on today's agenda to proceed. I'm going to ask item 4.1, urgent BFI/RGIB vehemence to ensure BFI/RGIB allocation expenditure. The first person to speak on this item for 3 minutes is Councillor van Branders.
Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor van Branders, you've just gone silent on us.
Sorry, Speaker, somebody muted my mic.
Sorry, we've got it sorted out now.
Thank you, Speaker. The item is on the agenda because of a dispute that occurred on the Skaapkop tender. The Skaapkop tender closed on the 22nd of February. The municipality received appeals against the appointment of the preferred tenderer on the Skaapkop tender. An interdict was subsequently received and was attended to by legal services. The matter is currently in the High Court. Subsequently, the department needed to adjust the cash flow projections, because obviously we need to spend the BFI money, and the department is very willing to spend this money. In order for us to spend this money, we need to approve these environments. Now, these environments will go to specific 2 projects to be expedited so that we can ensure expenditure of our RBIC money. Firstly, it will go to the filtered media supply, sand, and then secondly for the reinforcement steel. I therefore recommend the proposal on page 7 that Council approve the proposed environments for the BFI RBIC project components. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor van Branders. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor F. Mdaka. Councillor, you have 3 minutes. I believe she's just trying to get back into the meeting. Councillor Mdaka, are you back? I do understand that the wind is causing problems. I'm therefore going to come back to Councillor Mdaka, and I'm going to continue Councillor Kleinhans, I presume it's Councillor Alderman Gericke. I have asked to please put your questions or remarks in the chat box so that we can continue. If I may just continue with the next person on the item is Councillor Hector. I'll come back to Councillor Councillor Mdaka.
Dankie Speaker. Speaker, wil net graag vra wat is die projekte wat ons hierna verwys? Wat is die finansiële waarde van hierdie projekte?
Can Mr. Pollis just translate, please, before we continue?
Thank you, Speaker. Ukhansela uceba uHector ufuna nje uqonda into yobana zeziphi ezi projects kuthethwa ngazo apha futhi ke zixabisa malini na?
I'm going to ask the Councillor van Branders, do you have any indication as to what the amounts are? I don't think that anybody has them out of the top of their head. So is there anybody that can answer this, MM? Anybody? I don't understand.
Thank you, Speaker. If you look at the item, there was an allocated amount of 10 million allocated towards the pump station of Skaapkop. And this money is moved to the filter sand. Now, the filter sand project is a total of 20 million that we need for all the water treatment works. And then you'll see the other 2 small environments, just over 1 million and just under 1 million, and that's all on page 6. Is from the extraction funds for the chlorine that we're moving it to the steel, because at this stage we can still get a good price on the steel, and it's the best way to go at this stage to ensure expenditure. I hope that answers the question on the amount. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hector. You can continue with your time, please.
Dankie Speaker. Speaker, ek wil net weet hierdie miljoene rande wat hier te sprake is, gaan die prosesse gevolg word in terme van die diensverskaffer wat die diens moet verrig, of hoe gaan julle te werk hierso, of is dit maar net weer 'n manier om een van julle DA koneksies te verryk in hierdie saak?
Utsho ke uceba ufuna nje uqonda into yoba ezi millions kuthethwa ngazo apha ingaba kuzawulandelwa yonke na i-process, zonke iinkqubo kufuneka zilandelwe zizawulandelwa na, okanye yenye nje yendlela yenu efuna nje ukutyebisa abantu benu abe-DA, okanye kuza kwenziwa njani na?
Councillor from Brandes, could you answer that, please?
Thank you, Speaker. It's not a problem. I obviously understand the councillor's question, and there's obviously always a concern to ensure that the process is followed. This money is going towards a tender that's already approved. So we already approved the water treatment works tender. That's the excavation that's already taken place. What we basically are doing is we are making some of the processes faster. So instead of ordering the filter stand and the seal in end of June, July, we expediting it. So we're just making the time frame a bit forward. And that is why we're moving this money on this financial year. So in the next financial year, the 10 million we take from Skaapkop, we put back into Skaapkop, and the other monies we put back into that out of this vote in the next financial year. So we're basically just expediting the other tenders because it's all multi-year projects and the tenders was already awarded and it's in good standing. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Councillor Hector, does that hopefully answer all your questions? Do you have any proposals to make?
Speaker, ons hoor hier was klaar getender. Dat met ander woorde was klaar gebudget vir hierdie projek. Hoekom moet jy nou fondse geskuif raak? Addisionele fondse, en ons praat hier van R50 nie. Ons het nou gehoor hier van R10 miljoen plus. As jy alles gaan optel, dan gaan jy sien, dan kom jy amper by R15 miljoen plus uit in terme van hierdie verskuiving van die budget wat julle nou wil doen. So ek wil weet, daar was die raad het nou geantwoord. Daar was 'n tender, met ander woorde, wat ons gebudget vir die tender. Hoekom nou die addisionele kostes dan nou?
Mr. Paulus, could you just translate before I take the liberty of saying?
Malunga noba kutheni kongezwe i-funds ngoba icacile sekugqityiwe uthenga kwesho apha futhi ke nebudget yenziwe futhi kuthethwa ngemali ezinkulu apha kuthethwa ngemali encinci kuthethwa malunga ne-15 million. Ufuna uqonda ke into yobana kutheni kufuneka kongezwe i-funds kule mali eninzi kangaka.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paulus. Councillor Hector, I'm going to ask you to please read pages 5 and 6 of the item. All the questions that you're asking are specifically answered on that page.
Speaker, ek is hier om myself te verteenwoordig. Die publiek is ingeskakel, hulle soek die inligting.
Councillor, what is your point of order? I'm making a point. The fact is, Councillor,
wat ek liewer vir die raad moet vra, wie is die tenderaar wat die huidige tender gekry het?
Councillor, the point of the matter is, as a councillor, it is your responsibility to inform the public. That is what our jobs are as councillors. We are here to debate an item regarding this. If there are questions that are not answered in the item, then I understand your questioning. But the items that you are questioning are, all the items are answered in the item which you have in front of you. So I don't understand, and I'm not being funny. I'm being honest with you that our jobs as councillors is to inform our public, and the item is fully comprehensive.
Speaker, is buite orde nou.
Councillor Hector, please, I'm going to ask you, what is the point of order? There's no... Councillor, I'm bringing you to order once. Councillor, Councillor, I'm asking you for a second time to please stop talking. I'm asking you for a second time. You are talking while I am speaking. I have told you that this has got nothing. The answers that you are looking for are in the item. And I have every right to tell you that we stick to this. Councillor Hector, I'm going to ask you to continue with your debate regarding the item. Councillor van Branders, would you please answer Councillor Hector for a second time? Thank you.
Surely, Speaker, it's not a problem at all. Councillor Hector, what we did in the budget is we got 1.2 billion for the RBIC. Now, the total costs that we anticipate for the, let's say, waterworks, it's just over 120 million. So that contract was awarded. I can tell you the consultant is RHDHV, if I'm not incorrect, and the contract is ICON. The administration can help me if I'm incorrect, but I think that's the correct information. If I'm wrong, just put up your hand. Then how it works is because it's 127 million, it's the whole contract of the waterworks. We split it up over the multi-years. So we're only doing in this financial year, we allocated the budget for 22 million towards the new waterworks. Now, because we are struggling with appointing the contractor on Skarpkop, there was in this financial year allocated 10 million. So we're taking that 10 million, we're moving it over to the water treatment works. So it's still the same amount of the contract. It's still the over 120 mil. We're only fast-tracking 10 million. So instead of doing it in the next financial year, we're just doing it in this financial year. It doesn't change the contract in any way because obviously the contract is the amount of the whole contract, not financial year contracts. But because we are a municipality and we work on municipal budgets, we only allocate every year a specific component towards the allocated budget for that year that makes up the total of the 1.2 billion. I hope that answers your questions better. Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I think, just for clarity as well, if I may, in your opening remark, if I understood you correctly, there was a delay because of a court case. Am I correct in understanding that? Just for clarity, so we don't continue with this backwards and forwards. There was a delay because of a court case?
Yes,
and that is
correct, on an under tender.
So therefore, that money was then basically sent across. So for clarity purposes, that is how I understand it. Thank you very much. Councillor Hector, I think your questions have now been answered, and as far as I know, the time is up. Do you have any last remark before I move on to the next person, please? No, you've asked your questions. I'm going to, therefore, your last remark on this item before I move on. Okay, I take your silence as being done. Thank you very much. I'm going to move on to the next person on this item. I believe Councillor Ndaka is still not available. So I'm going to ask that Councillor Kleinhans, you are the next person to on the speakers list. I'm going to ask you to present your 3 minutes. The time starts now.
Speaker, thank you. Firstly, Speaker, I think you must just let the portfolio chairperson speak. Councillor van Branders has done a stunning job in explaining the councillor's question. Further, Speaker, according to my knowledge, this money was not spent due to the change of regulations or the regulations that was challenged in a court, where the court has come back with a decision. I just want to ask, Speaker, through you to the administration, in the absence of any directions now currently from National Treasury, what is the government of George going to do to making sure that we do also include developmental contractors, and the nice word is SMMEs, because we really cannot sit in a situation, Speaker, where we only have the people from other Kandibrug as just being the boytjies. So I would like really one question, and then furthermore, Speaker, how do we have when we manage these contracts, deliverables that we will make sure that our people get empowered by these contracts, because it's 127 million. It's not a small money, and it's money coming from national government, making sure that we do deliver on infrastructure, but it's also money that we can use to empower our people and make sure that we break the shackles of intergenerational poverty. If I can have a answer on that, Speaker, what have we put in place to make sure that we also do deliver on our developmental goals, specifically SMMEs and emerging contractors. I thank you, Speaker.
Councillor, I take cognizance of the question that you've asked. However, I must say that the item at hand is the urgent BFI and the RGBI environment. And I'm going to ask, with all due respect, that question be given to the administration outside this meeting so that we stay to the point. The agenda is quite clear that we're discussing the environment and the approval of that environment. And I'm going to ask, therefore, that the question be answered off this platform. As I said, I don't want this to become a debate on all the other things. And apart from that, there is a court case that has taken place and stuff like that. So therefore, I'm going to ask you to take this offline. Thank you.
Speaker, can I just for clarity's sake, this is not, I don't want a debate, Speaker. We've discussed this in length on the committee level. The only question that I know, Speaker, why this money is only here now. I don't want to fight with you. I'm just asking what in the meantime are we going to put in place, because the court case has already been done now in the absence of regulations from National Treasury. I'm asking Mr. Fourie, Mr. Rian, and what are they going to put in place? I cannot ask the administration as a councillor, then I will be brought to the Speaker as meng in die administrasie. Oh, yeah, okay, thank you, Speaker.
I don't think Mr. Du Plessis is in council at this stage. Mr. Du Plessis, could you briefly answer Councillor Kleinhans's question, please? Mr. Du Plessis? You are unmuted. Just 1 second. Sorry. Okay, Mr. Du Plessis, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Speaker. I was just trying to type in a chat box that my mic is muted. Thank you. Speaker, just to answer the question with regards to the interim measures that we've applied since the court case that Councillor has referred to, we took an item to Council at the end of March. And that item detailed the guidance that we received from the Western Cape government, what we need to apply, and effectively what it gives us is guidance how to proceed with the PPPFA regulations without having to apply the 3 sections that have been declared unconstitutional. So currently we are one of multiple municipalities in the country that have applied that guidance. And I just came out of a meeting with the AG where they still don't have any guidance from their side. So it's the only guidance really currently that is there until the new PPPFA regulations get promulgated by Treasury. So we're following a consistent approach, and that item has already been taken to Council at the end of March. I think that can be made available.
Thank you.
Just to refresh the memory on that. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Du Plessis. I take it that has answered the question, Mr. Councillor Kleinhans.
Yes, thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask again if Councillor Mdaka is present. Councillor Mdaka, you are now in the meeting. If I could ask you to please go ahead, you have 3 minutes. Councillor Mdaka, you do have to unmute yourself, unfortunately. Councillor Mdaka. Councillor Mdaka, you are in the meeting, but you need to unmute yourself to continue. Can you unmute yourself? I cannot unmute anybody. I can only mute people. Councillor Ndaka, you need to unmute yourself, please. Okay, I'm going to ask the ANC to, I know that there's somebody else that is there. If somebody from her party, there is obviously a problem with her microphone, which is a technical issue. I'm therefore going to ask, is there anyone from the ANC that is with her, that is online currently, so we can have the 3 minutes? While they are busy sorting that out, I'm going to ask Councillor Kampe from the EFF to continue while I get somebody to phone the ANC to find out what's going on with the technical problems. I'm trying to be as fair as possible, and I do understand that the weather is playing havoc. So, Councillor Kampe, you do have 3 minutes, and your time starts the minute you unmute yourself.
Thank you, Speaker. First of all, Speaker, I would love to know the meaning of WTW, because as I was reading that table, I got confused by this abbreviation. So can someone assist me there, please?
Councillor Kampe, I am very proud to be able to say I can actually help you. It's Water Treatment Works.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Speaker. Okay, it's fine. As it's said to council, the first thing, Speaker, that we need to understand is that it is very essential and crucial that we service our infrastructure, which will ensure service delivery to our people. And this is part of the essential infrastructure. But here, the only concern when it comes to us is the amount of money when we talk about the budgets. Yeah, we know which when we speak of money, when we see millions, it's quite shocking to us. And at some point, you just wish in future here in council, whenever we are asked to approve such amounts of money, that there could be a breakdown, because we know the key of our municipalities to save money, to ensure proper and great service delivery for our people. So at some point, we need to know what were the options that we need to trust our officials and our higher people in the municipal offices. They did take the best option as possible when it comes to the projects that need to be conducted for our people. And we also hope that in future, the municipality can also, when it comes to such projects and with such huge amounts, that they take people who can do the job properly, who are capable to do the job. Because if I can put into record, Speaker, I just hope I'm not off to topic. There was a project that was done here in my area, which they were insecting pipeline.
Councillor, I'm going to have to interrupt you because you've gone completely off the topic.
Okay.
We're discussing the BFI and the RBIG. And
Okay.
If I could ask you to stay on topic, please.
Okay, thank you, Speaker. I was just, since it's a relevant topic, I think it was important so that I can put in record, because we are facing a sewage problem here. Since ever that project was done, people's sewages are blocking even now and then. Houses that never have such problems, they're encountering those problems. So that's why I thought it is, but it's fine, Speaker, thank you. We just want to say we as the EFF, we approve the proposed budget in the for the firemen's, because at last it was finally, whatever we may say, these things must be done. These water services and infrastructure must be built so that we can have water supply to our people. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I'm glad to say that Councillor Ndaka is back online, and I'm therefore going to ask her to please go ahead with her 3 minutes. Councillor Ndaka, your time starts the minute you unmute. Thank you.
After a long time struggling, thank you, Speaker, for allowing me this time. We as the ANC don't have a problem about the BIF because we know where that money comes from. And another thing, Speaker, when civil CES is implementing those projects, please, our people must get work, must get jobs, because we want employment for this municipality, because this municipality on employment everything is very slow. So when you fix those water things there, please allow our people to get jobs, and don't forget about the subcontractors that are in our areas. Regard them as well, give them jobs. We are seconding that the approval of this money. Thank you, Speaker, as the ANC. Sorry that I caused problems with other councillors. I'm sorry. I'm using my phone. I'm in the road. That's why. Sorry that I'm not using my laptop.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Are you there for then seconding the motion?
I can't hear.
I was making a joke. I said, are you there for seconding the motion for this then?
Speaker, when it comes to delivery,
never mind.
I will support when it comes to service delivery. If our people are going to benefit and if it's something needs to be done, I will second. The ANC will second, because we are there for our people who are there for serving.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I don't want to run out your battery. Okay.
Wherever it is.
Thank you. All right. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Smart from the PA. Councillor Smart, you have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Speaker. Now, Speaker, in terms of the violence, we've discussed it in our committee meeting, and the explanation from the chairperson was quite clear. So I don't have a problem with that. I've just gotten a concern. So we are taking now this money from the Skarpkop Skarpkop budget, and I was just just a little bit of concern. So if the councillor can just indicate maybe to the PA when is when is it going to be the progress be made with Skarpkop? That is the one thing, and I would like to piggyback on maybe Councillor Kleinhan's and maybe the prize speakers with regards to the chairperson. When we do have such programs, and this program is coming from national government, that it is relevant that we should look at the fact, never mind now the triple PFA, that we should look at employment for our people. Because we are still seeing that there's a lot of contractors coming in, and they are bringing their people. So this is just the PA's point for for engaging in the comments of my previous colleagues, that we should create some way of employment. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I take into account your sentiments, and I have had a little bit of leeway today. Obviously, the things that you are mentioning are not 100% to do with the item, but because I did the rest, I'm going to ask Councillor van Branders. I see your hand is up. You'd like to reply to Councillor Smart. Please keep it short and to the point.
Thank you, Speaker. I'll keep it short. Thank you, Councillor Smart, for the question. We are literally waiting for judgment from the court. As soon as we've received the judgment, obviously, what depends on the judgment, we will go ahead with the tender or put out a new tender, whatever the judgment is. I cannot say what it's going to be. I don't know what the judge is going to say. And of course, the money we're using now, we're putting back from the water treatment works into the Skarpkop in the next financial year, the next municipality financial year. So that's obviously in July. So it will not, will not lose the project. It will just, we're just waiting for the tender to get judgment on, and then we will proceed again with the Skarpkop. Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you very much, Councillor van Branders. And I trust that puts Councillor Smart's mind at ease. I'm therefore going to ask the next person.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Smart. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Du Toit from the ACDP. Councillor Du Toit, you have 3 minutes. Councillor Kleinhan's, could I ask you to put your question in the chat box, please, so that we can just see where I can fit it in, please? Thank you. Councillor Du Toit, you may go ahead.
Baie dankie, Speaker. Speaker, dit is uiters noodsaaklik dat hierdie geld gespandeer moet word. Dit is vir dienslewering aan die hele gemeenskap van George. Skoon water is essensieel vir die breë gemeenskap en dis nodig vir ons gesondheid ook. As ons nie skoon water het nie, is daar soveel siektes wat kan kom en dis noodsaaklik dat ons hierdie geld spandeer sodat ons skoon water kan hê vir die hele gemeenskap in George. Daarom ondersteun die ACDP hierdie aanbeveling. Dankie, Speaker.
ACDP ke yona ithi kubalulekile kakhulu ukubana le mali ichithwe ngoba le mali yenzelwa i-service kunikezelwa inkonzo kwaye ke amanzi siyayazi sonke ukubana asisiseko esibalulekileyo essential service kakhulu futhi ke ayimpilo kubalulekile into yobana thina siluntu ubana sibe nempilo ibalulekile impilo yethu ngoko ke sisinyanzelo ukuba le mali mayichithwe futhi ke ichithelwa ukuhanjiswa kweenkonzo ngoko ke i-ACDP ithi yona iyayixhasa i-recommendation.
Thank you. I'll be with you in a second. Councillor Kleinans, I don't understand your point of order that you're trying to raise. I don't see any rule that has been broken regarding what has been said. You have also not been very clear in your reason for asking for a point of order. I did ask that you put it in the chat box, what is the point of order that you're actually trying to raise. I understand that you want to raise it on 30.2 and 30.3, but I don't see any rule that has been broken and it pertains to the outcome of a court case. Councillor, we have not discussed any court cases, and I'm going to ask you to very quickly tell me where somebody's transgressed this, because we have not discussed an outcome of a court case. So I'm going to, for clarity's sake of my own, you're asking something about a court case, so I'm going to unmute you.
Mr. Speaker, it is not Councillor Kleinans, it's Virgil Gericke. I just want to hear, and I'm rising on a point of order here, 30.2 and 30.3. As far as my understanding, and I want legal clarity on this, in terms of the pending court case, that court case only pertains to the preconditions of a tender. It does not undo the entire act. So everything is in place in terms of the act. It's the preconditions that have been disputed in a court of law, meaning that we must still adhere to the actual act as it stands in the PPPFA. Thank you, Speaker.
Alderman Gericke, I understand your question. However, a point of order is a breach of the rules of order. I understand that. And if I may, I'm going to rule your point of order not for this specific item. You are bringing something which is not relevant to the specific item right now. Yes, we have had the court case, and that is something completely different to the actual item at hand.
Mr. Speaker,
Councillor,
Mr. Speaker,
Councillor, I'm busy talking. I didn't interrupt you, Councillor.
The element of empowerment is relevant
Councillor,
to the topic.
I did not interrupt you, and I'm going to ask you for the same diligence with me, please.
Okay, that's right.
All right. I'll continuously get criticized for interrupting, and I'm asking you not to do the same. I have listened to what your point of order is, and I'm going to make a ruling that your point of order has nothing to do with the item at hand. There was no breach of the code of conduct or the rules of order, and I'm therefore going to rule that your point of order will not be taken into consideration.
So what point must I submit to be heard, sir? Can you advise me?
A rule of order or a point of order is pertaining to an action taking place currently in the meeting where somebody breaks a rule of order.
Can I then rise on a point of clarity, please?
Councillor, your party has already asked the questions.
It does not matter. I'm entitled to speak at any given time in council.
Well, then, Councillor, I can see where this is heading. I'm therefore going to ask you,
It's not heading anywhere. It's heading to the business of this council. It's not heading anywhere. You see a problem where a problem that does not exist.
Councillor, I take objection to the way that you speak to me, and I've given you the opportunity to raise a point of order.
What is it that you're taking objection to when I speak about the business of this council?
Councillor, there are rules to a council meeting, and you obviously are not abiding
on
to them.
the rules.
I'm engaging
on the rules.
Councillor, I'm going to give you a warning. You are arguing with me once I've spoken, and you do this continuously. I'm asking you for the first time.
I engage you on the rules of order.
You are not engaging me. You are actually confronting me.
I am engaging you on the rules of order.
Councillor,
and you're starting with your dictatorship again. When I speak on
I'm asking you twice.
You can ask me, so don't you want to answer me? Don't you want to answer me?
Councillor, the time is 15:42, and I'm giving you your third warning. The ruling of the speaker is final and binding. You are continuously interrupting me.
Are you not going to answer me? This is what I'm asking you.
I'm not answering you. No. I'm therefore.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you in court.
Thank you very much, Councillor.
We'll see you.
Time is nigh. I'm ruling on rule number 4.
Your time is nigh. I'm telling you, your time is nigh.
Councillor, I'm now going to remove you from this meeting at exactly 15:43 for continuously.
It helps our court case. It helps our court case
when you very much, Councillor. And please remove Alderman Gericke from the meeting. The time now is 14:53, and I've asked Alderman Gericke to be removed from this meeting due to item number or the ruling, rule 4, breach of the rules of order on rule 4, which is ruling of the speaker is final and binding, and also 8.2, speaker after considering suitable motivation change the order. I'm therefore asking to please remove him. The time is 14:53. Having done that and said that, councillors, I'm going to once again inform everybody and the public that I have muted all the microphones because of the simple fact that we have interruptions necessarily. And I am now going to continue with this meeting. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor De Tooy. No, sorry, Councillor van Niekerk. Councillor van Niekerk, you have got 3 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker, for the opportunity. Speaker, from the Freedom Front side, I believe that this topic has been exhausted by all the questions and answers and so on. We feel that the item is self-explanatory, and as such, I will not waste any further time, and the Freedom Front will recommend support the recommendation. Sorry. Thank you, Speaker.
Okay, therefore, the item is seconded by Councillor van Niekerk. Am I therefore correct to say that we are therefore in favour of this motion and this motion is carried? Thank you very much. I am now going to ask that the corporate services please remove the YouTube link. I'm going to ask for 5 minutes to make sure that the meeting is now transferred to a confidential meeting for the last item. Bearing in mind that the two items, 4.2 and 4.3, have been withdrawn. So I'm now going to ask if you are going to just adjourn for a few minutes, and I'm going to ask that the corporate services then